What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Yes, I cut my hair and it looks short, but it's not really that short. It just appears to be that way. But what's up, y'all? It's Saturday once again. We got another Piers Morgan debate coming in, and we got the great philosophical discussion on, are you a grifter? Yes, we're talking about the left. We're talking about the losses of the left. And we got this panel. They kind of go after each other a little bit, but they discuss some really, really deep topics. But before we get into the debate, I need you guys to do me a big favor. Smash that like button for me. I need your help, y'all, because I'm having to compete with tens of thousands of channels, and I am truly appreciative that you guys have chosen to click on this video and watch my video, watch what I've put together for you guys today. But without any further ado, y'all smash that like button. Yeah. Without any further ado, smash the like button for me. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can, and let's get into it, y'all.
Cindy, I want to play a clip. This is Kamala Harris overnight. I don't know why she thought this was a good idea to come back out before Christmas as everyone's licking their wounds, and almost like she was in campaign mode again. It's like, please, do not do this. But let's take a listen to what she had to say.
Get some rest over the holidays. Spend time with the people you love. I believe family comes in many forms. There's family by blood and there's family by love. I urge you, then, after you have had some rest, in fact, I challenge you to come back ready to chart our path to the future. Chin up, shoulders back, forever impatient for change.
I mean, Lindy, no disrespect to her, because she's a perfectly nice woman. She would not inspire me to open a bag of chips. I mean, seriously. And I think that she sort of personifies now the ghost of Christmas past, as does Biden. The Democrats have got to move on quickly, haven't they?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. She's indulging delusions of running for governor in California in 2026 and perhaps even running for president in 2028. And I just want to echo what a lot of you guys already said. This past week has been harrowing for me. This Saturday, I went on Fox and Friends and I said that Democrats have a stench of loser hanging over them. Yeah. As soon as I said that, there were boycott campaigns against me, unblock, unfollow campaigns. I lost 40,000 followers.
Really?
In 4 days. People have called me the W word. I don't know what we're allowed to say, but you can fill in the blank.
We're uncensored. No, say it. Say what the word was.
Am I allowed to?
Yeah.
Well, they called me a whore. They called me the C word. They asked for me to be deported, and you can just search for my name in those terms on X, and you'll see a bunch of them. So all these so-called Democrats, the party of inclusion, the party of diversity, masks off, and it's even worse because they pretend to occupy the moral high ground. At least with Republicans, they are who they are, but with Democrats, they pretend to be so loving and caring and embracing of diversity. But all of a sudden, when I dare to utter any criticisms of the goddess, Kamala Harris, I get ostracized. Me, after having raised tens of millions of dollars for the party. And I'm being called a grifter when all along, all these years, I've said on TV, I've said to the press, I'm a conservative Democrat. This is not a switch for me. This is just me. This is who I've always been. Yeah. And also, my donors are pissed. They raised $2.5 billion across Super PAC in the campaign. It's my responsibility. It's my duty of care to ask what the hell happened with that money? Why did we spend it? Why did we spend millions of dollars on five-star hotels for campaign staffers? Why did we spend $500,000 essentially bribing Al Sharpton moments before he interviewed Kamala? These are legitimate questions, but no, in the cult, you can't ask questions. Yeah. And leaving the Democratic Party or even questioning the Democratic Party is like leaving a cult. It's terrifying.
Yeah, Dave.
Now, you guys know me. I'm kind of reluctant to call anybody a cultist. However, there is a quick, easy way you can figure out if you're in a cult or not. And the left, the far left, has definitely become a cult. When you simultaneously have a position of, we dislike the military-industrial complex, but yet we should fund Ukraine. hang on just a second here. Funding Ukraine means funding the military-industrial complex. Those two positions don't make any sense. Now, this is something that we've been seeing a lot of, especially here in recent months. As a matter of fact, you got all these people, oh, why I left the left. It's becoming popular, right? A lot of people think it's a grift. Well, and there are people trying to grift off the backs of this. I don't know if she's one of these people, but when you start to question the cult-like following that you have, you quickly see that you'll get booted out of that cult because it is a cult, right? A lot of people love to call, Trump supporters cultists, and they do have some people that are just adamantly behind Trump and will do and say anything. But as a whole, the vast majority of people that are following Trump currently, they're not in a cult. We have a wide ranging of opinions, right? And we can get into a discussion. We can get into an argument, work all these points out, do we like this? Do we like that? Blah, 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 blah. You get it. And we can have this discussion and shake hands, go have a beer later and do whatever. And everything's just rosy and fun. Maybe we can come to each other's positions, but on the left, all of a sudden you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a misogynist, and you're all these other things. You're just the evil, right? Like, these are the same people that call Christians evil, right? Christians, of all people, turn the other cheek, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. Yet these people, that's who they call evil. Why? Because they don't buy into the cult. That's right. If you don't buy into the cult, if you don't believe 100% of everything the cult believes, you're on the far right. That's absurd. And this is something that needs to be pointed out, and it needs to be rammed home. We need to make shame great again. In other words, we need to shame these people into oblivion. You can't hold these certain positions. It's ridiculous. It's absurd to think you can just change your gender on a whim and everything's just fine, that you can go into the opposite sex bathroom. No, these things, they don't align with reality as reality aligns with reality. This is something that's of a dream world, right? Where everything is just rosy and fine, right? We live in a world where evil people exist. People that will just do disgusting actions. And, we got to guard ourselves against these things. And having certain setups, certain situations, people will grift off the backs of these ideas and take advantage of people in the process. Right. So, how do we recognize this? How do we recognize the difference between a grifter and somebody who's genuine? Right? Well, my litmus test, I guess you could say, is, start breaking their opinions down on everything. If somebody has changed every single one of their positions, every one of them, just totally opposite, they're probably a grifter. But if they just question a few things like, why did Kamala Harris spend all these billions of dollars on this and this and this and lost anyway, while at the same time telling everybody that she was going to win, knowing her internal public, we've got a problem here. We've got a major problem here. And that's one way you can kind of figure this out. If they're just questioning a few things like, why did we do this? Why did we lie to everybody? They're probably not grifting. If they still hold the same positions, if they still want to be Democrats, if you will, they still have those classical liberal values that Democrats are supposed to hold true and near to their heart, they're probably not grifting. But let's keep going.
So when you leave the left, as both of the ladies just pointed out, you will get unending hatred, usually having nothing to do with what you believe or you say. And again, I would just have anyone rewind the video and listen to the nonsense that Cenk said about me to prove that it still exists.
Well, Cenk, you did launch a very aggressive ad hominem attack on Dave Rubin off the top, which was your decision to do that. But in relation to his specific question, Cenk, can you say one thing that Dave Rubin believes in today that you don't think he believes?
Donald Trump has YMCA. Isn't there a firefighter in there? There's a cop and an Indian. I'm not sure.
Hold on. look, there's a couple of super important things to say here. First of all, in answering your question, look, Dave doesn't believe in any of the positions he believed in. Before he thought he believed in affirmative action, he believed in this. Okay, affirmative action. And now he says it's the worst thing in the world.
Affirmative action. I evolved. I used to believe in identity politics because I was a progressive like you.
You asked me to say.
Yes,
Why can't he
change? You asked me to name
but
something you changed on. I named it.
You're telling me I don't believe what I'm saying right now. You're calling me a sellout. I believe in
Did you believe the Russian propaganda you were paid for?
Oh, you are an utter
Did you believe the
buffoon.
Russian propaganda you were paid for?
I was not paid, Cenk. I was not paid for
$100,000 a video.
Oh my God, you clown! I would recommend anyone look into that to find out a bit more on that. Cenk, how much when you took $1 million from Jeffrey Katzenberg? What did that do for you?
And did I change my positions at all? Not 1%. Not 1%. Okay, can I just address the core of the problem here?
What position do you think I hold that I cannot explain my beliefs on?
Jeffrey Katzenberg is in favor of. Okay, Jeffrey Katzenberg is a good guy, but he's in favor of Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris. I was against all three. What part of that is unclear? So look, Piers, there's three different
hang on.
Can I just
hang on.
Politics for a second.
Cenk, here's my point. The point Dave Rubin is making is, why shouldn't he be allowed to go on an evolution of his views? And why does that mean that right now you can say to him, as you did, you don't believe anything you're saying or believe now, when actually it's completely possible that he 100% believes everything he now says because he's changed his mind? Why can't he do that? And why don't you believe him?
I think that the left is scarred by people like Dave Rubin, who had a complete change. For example, Tulsi Gabbard goes from total progressive to total right-winger. On the other hand, RFK Jr. didn't go to a total right-winger. He still believes the things that he believes about the environment, about housing, about corruption, etc. So you have to be able to distinguish between the people who are doing it professionally, as I hate the word grift, but whatever it is that you want to call it, and the people who have genuine disagreements and genuine nuance in their opinions. So, for example, guys, there's three different branches of each party. There is the radical right, radical left, there's the populist left and populist right, and then there's the establishment of both parties. I despise the establishment with every fiber of my being. And I've been doing that same exact program for over 22 years, longest running show in internet history. And we've never wavered on that. But now the radical left, unfortunately, is doing what you're worried about, Piers, that the minute that they see anything where you say, I agree with the right, when they agree with us on something like anti-war, they go, oh my God, hold on, let me finish the thought. Let me finish the thought. And what people then say is, oh no, he's going to pull a Dave Rubin because these guys get paid to go fully right-wing and then they'll throw their own people under the bus. So they'll pick a gay guy like Dave to throw gay people under the bus. If you see me going after Muslims, if you see me going after people that I've always supported, then you have an issue. But part of and this is not a pivot, guys. We've been fighting the radical left for 2 straight years now because they say absurd things like, hey, if the right wing agrees with us, we shouldn't do it anyway. We had somebody leave the network because they said, everyone on the right wing is racist. If you agree with the right wing in anything, even if it's things that we agree on, that makes you racist, and it hurts black bodies.
All right.
See, that's absurd. Yeah. That's insane.
Of course it is. I mean, the irony is that you and Dave Rubin probably agree with a lot more than you're prepared to ever admit. You just don't think his views are sincere because he's changed his mind on a number of positions. By the way, I used to think I was liberal.
It's not just that, Piers. He lied about us 20 times
I have
over.
nothing in common with modern woke liberals. Zero. Let me bring Dave Smith back in.
Now, Cenk does bring up some pretty interesting points here. Look at Dave Rubin. Now, I can't say for sure with any certainty if he's grifting or if he genuinely believes these things. However, it is a phenomena that is going on right now. People are questioning their beliefs, and they're getting compelled by these arguments to kind of shift their positions a little bit because they're shifting their positions from a totally totally illogical position to a totally logical position. You know, Cenk Uygur right there, he has some totally illogical positions on everything. You know, Trump is just evil regardless of what he does. That's totally illogical, right? Trump does some things that, you know, we don't like sometimes, and we have general criticisms of these things. But, you know, overall, he's a net positive on this country. His first presidency, he was battling the establishment left and right. And yet, he was still a net positive presidency, right? He crossed the demilitarized zone into North Korea right after threatening to nuke the crap out of them. Right? A lot of people were worried. Oh my God, he's going to start World War III with North Korea of all places, right? Think about that for a second, if you will. How much sense does that make? Yeah, they got nukes, but yeah, I'm not really worried about their nukes. But people were fear-mongering over Donald Trump starting a war. And what did that result in? Peace talks. He crossed the demilitarized zone without a security detail, for crying out loud. Just walked right across, shook hands, and they talked it out, right? What else did Trump do? Oh, the Abraham Accords. Now, a lot of people have criticisms of the Abraham Accords, especially Dave Smith. As a matter of fact, he thinks that was the impetus for October 7th, the Hamas attack. Now, there's arguments for that, but I don't buy into that. I think the overarching idea of the Abraham Accords is a net positive. Once again, you know, peace between Israel and all these other Muslim nations that kind of hate Israel, right? You know, it was pretty much an economic normalization of trade relations between all these countries, right? That's the beginning of peace. When you can actually work with countries on economic issues, then you can work other issues out and it'll be to your benefit, right? But once again, getting back to Dave Rubin, I have no idea. Right now, Cenk brings up the whole Russia thing. This is one of the most absurd things, right? They're going after these people that got paid by Russia, supposedly, not knowing. But they get blamed for spewing Russian propaganda all over the place, right? But hang on, what is that Russian propaganda? We shouldn't be funding the Ukraine war. That's not Russian propaganda. That's an opinion on whether the United States should be involved in funding a war on the other side of the world that has nothing to do with us. Now, some people will come in and say, well, it's in our national security interest to make sure there's, you know, that Russia doesn't invade and take over Ukraine. Why is that? Nobody can ever explain that. Nobody can ever explain that. Oh, well, they just come up with this, oh, well, he's going to be emboldened to roll into Poland. Yeah, well, that would mean that Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, the dictator, if you want to call him that, which, you know, it's an apt title, if you will, would mean he's insane. That's what that would mean, because that would mean the destruction of Russia. Do you think the guy, he might be an evil dictator, right? But I don't think he's stupid enough to roll into Poland and trigger Article 5 of NATO's treaty, right? Article 5 pretty much means that, you know, if there's an attack on one, it's like attacking all of them outright, and you're going to be simultaneously battling all of Europe, all of NATO, and the United States for the most part, which most people don't want to do because it will mean the end of your country, right? We have nukes, but nobody wants to start lobbing nukes at each other. However, if Article 5 is triggered by Russia, that will mean we'll start off conventional warfare. Russia will be pushed into a corner because, you know, they can't handle NATO. Just outright on its face, they can't handle NATO. So they will be pushed to an existential situation where that button, that red button that means the destruction of everything, will look more and more and more tempting, because if your nation's going to be utterly obliterated anyway, why not obliterate everybody else? And that's something I think we should stop, right? And hopefully Trump comes in and does this, but yeah, we don't know what's going to happen yet. I think Trump can work something out on that. We've got another segment coming up, though, so we're going to shift topics here to something a little bit more at home, if you will. Check this out.
Asking for a payment for the bill. So I have strong views about it. But that's got nothing to do with the cold-blooded execution of an executive. And this hero worship of this guy, Luigi Maggioni, he's not a hero, is he?
So, Piers, I abhor violence, and you know that on every topic, including Israel-Gaza, I always say the same thing, which is violence is both deeply immoral and deeply counterproductive. It's a surrender in the battlefield of ideas. So, but as you see that poll, Piers, you can call them morons, and I disagree with them. So I understand your frustration. But at the same time, if you ignore why they're having this unusual a reaction to a killing, you're making a mistake. And the reason they're having that reaction is because we live under corporate rule. And now both right and left hate that corporate rule. And health insurance is an excellent example of it. According to studies, 76,000 people die every year because they don't have health insurance, because they can't afford privatized health insurance. So the core job of the government is to protect us, military, police, firefighters, and yes, health insurance saves our lives. We're the only nation on earth that doesn't have universal health care. We let our own citizens die for profit. So that is the frustration that has built up, and now being shown in an unproductive way through this killing and the support of the guy who did the killing. But if you don't go address that massive health insurance problem, you're going to get more and more of this, and you can get angrier and angrier, and we can all go into our separate camps. But that's not going to solve it. What's going to solve it is ending corporate rule. And the number one issue is that the establishment takes money from those corporate donors and serves their corporate donors.
All right.
Both Trump and Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris took $700,000 from the health insurance industry to make sure that nothing fundamentally changed. That is a core problem. And if you're a Democrat or you're on the left and you push people out for saying things that are true, all you're going to get is a weaker and weaker party. Let's address the root causes.
All right.
This is a very, very illogical position to have. Well, you know, we abhor violence, but... No, dude, no, I'm sorry. Violence, this doesn't solve anything. This is only going to make things worse, right? You can't say, oh, well, people hate the corporations, blah, 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 and still think that anything is going to come out of this. Oh, we need to take a deeper look at this situation. No, we're constantly looking at this situation. Nothing is going to change about this. You know, just saying, oh, we abhor violence, but blah, blah, blah. No, that's not going to work. We've got to look at this issue and take this issue seriously without the violence. We can't have a violent attack and then say, hang on, let's grift on this and look at this issue a little bit deeper. No, sorry. That's not going to work, right? But the left has taken and perverted this issue a lot. They celebrated this on the left, the same place where Cenk comes from, right? And that's where he's getting his butt from, because he knows, as a matter of fact, that if he says anything good about violence, that he's going to get attacked relentlessly, and yet that's a bad position to be in. But we can't look at these situations and say, oh, well, this terrible act happened. Let's look deeper into this. No, I'm sorry. These issues are still going to remain regardless, right? We can't just end corporate rule in this country. I'm sorry. We've had way too many innovations from the corporations in this country, right? The corporations built this country, as a matter of fact. Yes, they did. Big corporations, the Industrial Revolution, built this country and made it what it is today, as a matter of fact. So corporations play a major role. Now, I will also say the corporations do have an entity in Washington, D.C. that needs to be eliminated. We should not allow these big corporations to lobby Congress outright. We need to end that. Just simply put, in the corporate lobby in this country, right? You want individualized lobbies? Sure, go right ahead. You want to have an individual, a person, right? But these corporations lobbying Congress to vote in the interests of the corporations, that's the root of the problem. But Cenk Uygur doesn't seem to get that. He just looks at big corporations, oh, well, that's big bad evil, and we need to eliminate that. No, I'm sorry. Corporations are not just all evil, all-encompassing bad. No. They built this country, and they serve a purpose in this country. They give jobs. They donate money. They give to charities. They push the boundaries of innovation in this country. Just look at what SpaceX has been doing. Look at what Tesla has been doing. Look at what OpenAI, the AI revolution in this country. Apple, Microsoft, Samsung. Well, Samsung's not really in the U.S., but you get what I'm trying to say here. Corporations have pushed the boundaries of technological advancement in this country, and our lives would be vastly different without these big corporations. So we need these big corporations. We just need to stop them lobbying Congress, right? Because that's where the root of the problem comes in. These corporations, they come in there and they butter these congressmen up, and these congressmen will vote against the interests of the American people. They will vote for all this garbage spending, all these garbage subsidies for the government, these pork projects, these pork barrel politics, if you want to call it, which is basically, a congressman, we need $3 million to this research facility over here to research, insert whatever ridiculous research, right? Like molasses, or how about this one? Trying to figure out, if gamers respond differently with eating candy or some stupid crap like that. Like, there's all these ridiculous studies that they do that bear no significant results to better humanity at all. There's billions of dollars spent on these things that don't need to be spent. And that's a shame when we have people like in these situations, like he was saying, X amount of people die because they don't have health insurance. Well, you know what? You could also say that, without these big corporations, the big corporations save, how many people don't die because they have health insurance? Yeah, you look at it that way, they save a lot more people than they hurt. Just simply put outright. Because if these big corporations didn't exist, we wouldn't have the health insurance industry like we do, and millions of people would die. Now, that is not to say that the smaller number of people that die, blah, blah, blah. It's not to say that they don't matter. They do. We need to figure out a way that everybody can get insurance, right? We need to figure something out here because, yeah, we care about people. We need people to exist, and we want people to live long, healthy lives. But the fact of the matter is, people die. People are going to die. You can't save everybody. We just need to keep pushing forward with technological advancements and just hope that we can get to that utopia one day, right? Not a communist utopia, not that. Something more like Star Trek, right? Where we have a free society, everything is paid for. But I think that comes through energy, right? If we could get cheap energy, that has been the one driving factor in societal change, reform, and advancement. And that's been has a proven track record of advancing human society outright, is cheap energy. Right? Look at what happened when oil was discovered, for crying out loud. And we discovered, hang on, we can power vehicles with this thing. Oh, we can burn coal to do this. What happened? A revolution took place. And now we have grocery stores on every corner in this country. We have a convenience stores, we have fast food, we have all this medical health care. You can call 911 and an ambulance will show up to your house a few minutes later. Do you think you could do that back in the 1800s? No. So these corporations play a big role, and we don't need to celebrate the death of somebody because this person was a deranged lunatic and thought that he would promote change by taking the life of another. That's not how this works. And that needs to be shunned into oblivion, right? We need to change culture if we want to change those types of actions. But the left coming out and celebrating this death and, you know, calling for gun control because of this shooter over here. No, I'm sorry. Reality doesn't work that way. Gun control isn't going to fix the derangement problem that we have in this country. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section, because I'd love to hear from you guys. I've got some new subscribers around here, so y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. If you don't mind, I would greatly appreciate that. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.